Imagine firing up your engines, backing out your dock, and being at open water in as little as 4 minutes. No bridges, no restrictions, just wide open 200-foot canals and the Caloosahatchee River right at your doorstep. Welcome to Beach Parkway on the Gold Coast of Cape Coral. Now in this video, I'm going to take you on a complete map tour of the Beach Parkway neighborhood in southeast Cape Coral. We're going to cover exact boat travel times to open water from every canal in the neighborhood, why this is one of the few neighborhoods in all of Cape Coral with virtually zero bridge restrictions, flood zones throughout the area, and the new condo laws that every buyer in this neighborhood needs to understand before making an offer. And right here on the river sits JC Park, one of the most talked about spots in Cape Coral right now, with brand new boardwalks, a splash pad, an amphitheater, and open water views that did not exist just a couple of years ago. My name is Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Gulf Access Realtor, and this is the information you won't find anywhere else. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome aboard. It's Barry Cessna, your Gulf Access Realtor here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral. Today we're going to explore the Beach Parkway neighborhood of Cape Coral in southeast Cape Coral, right there on the Gold Coast. We're going to take a look at bridge heights. We're going to take a look at distance to open water, as well as flood zones in that area. We're going to take a look at the convenience of the area. Its location between the Midpoint Bridge and the Cape Coral Bridge, giving you easy access over to Fort Myers Beach, RSW, the local airport here. Just a really great area. And then of course, easy access to downtown Cape Coral with a plethora of restaurants, nightlife, all kinds of great things in this area. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, many people don't know exactly where Cape Coral is located. You may be watching this for the first time, you're not quite sure. Cape Coral is located directly in southwest Cape Coral, just across the Caloosahatchee River from the city of Fort Myers. Cape Coral was a design city, designed back in the late 50s, early 60s by the Rosen brothers. And as we zoom in, you can take a look at all the different canals. We actually have over 400 miles of canals. Just over 200 of those are Gulf access canals, meaning you can dock your boat right in your backyard and then take a run right out to the open water. A really incredible city and opportunity. And due to the amount of canals in our area, you can still get a Gulf access canal home very affordable. We're talking $600,000 is about the entry level. I mean, you can get entry level for $500,000, but you're not going to get much. $600,000, you start to get a good looking house. $800,000, you start to get a home that's been updated and ready to go and in a great location. And then if you go $1 million plus, you're going to find brand new, close to open water, absolutely incredible opportunities. So Gulf access for all price points where you can dock your boat right in your own backyard. All right, let's jump in here. Today we're going to talk about Beach Parkway. And what makes Beach Parkway unique? There's a couple of different things, but first off, you're going to notice if we zoom in here, this is mainly multi-family. So basically it's condos, townhomes, and then we do have a few duplexes in the area as well. You're going to have the Orchid neighborhood to the south, and then you're going to have the Savona neighborhood to the north. But the actual Beach Parkway is mainly going to be condos. And one of the things you want to understand, there's a couple of things when you want to understand when you're buying a condo in the city of Cape Coral. First off, you want to understand the dock situation. Some condos have deeded docks, meaning when you purchase the unit in that building, a dock comes along with that. That's your own dock for you to use. Or they're a community dock, meaning first come, first serve. So that definitely increases the value when you have a deeded dock with the property as opposed to the community dock. And as we can go in here a little bit, you can see these ones have lifts, and this one looks like it was probably deeded with these ones. And then if you go over to some of this stuff here, like it looks like it's more community stuff. I don't see any lifts there. I just see the same uniform type of dock throughout. Now, of course, we would dive into that a little bit further if you were interested in purchasing a condo here in the beach neighborhood. The other thing I wanted to point out is going to be the new condo laws here in the state of Florida. They went into effect a couple of years ago after the Surfside collapse over in Miami. That was back in 2022. That was a large, tall, high-rise building over there, and it did collapse, killing multiple people. So the state of Florida went in and made a new law saying that if a property is within 3 miles of the water, it needs to have a structural inspection at 25 years. So as soon as the building hits 25 years, it needs to have a structural inspection, and then every 10 years after that. Now the challenge is, if a property is found to have structural problems, that can be a substantial expense to the owners. And that is why we are seeing condo prices plummet far more than single family homes right now. So there is some good opportunity. However, it does come with a bit of a risk. Now, to give you some more insight into that, this only applies to properties that have a minimum of 3 floors of habitable units. So if it's a 4-story building and the bottom level is a parking structure, that would still need to have that structural inspection starting at 25 years and then every 10 years after that. And we do have a handful of properties in here that would meet that criteria. Some of the properties in here were built as far back as the 70s, and then there were some that were built as late as the early 2000s. And then we still have empty lots here, which it looks like probably there were some older buildings there. They went in and knocked them down, and they may be building something new there. All right. The last thing I want to point out here on the beach neighborhood is one of the biggest controversies over the last year, or couple of years, I should say, and that was JC Park. This is JC Park. This is how it looked before. It had a large row of Australian pines along the water, which was absolutely beautiful. It provided amazing shade, great habitat for wildlife. However, it really blocked the view of the river. So if you wanted to go to a park and have a beautiful view of the river, it really kind of blocked that view. So what they did is they went in and they took out all the Australian pines, which were probably 50, 60 feet tall. Huge trees, beautiful. But they were invasive, so they were able to go in and just take them out. And that's what they did. They took them out. They built some beautiful boardwalks right on the water. So now you have a wide open view of the water to watch the boats go by. They also put in a huge splash pad for the kids, a couple of playgrounds, a volleyball court. They really stepped up the game and made it a more modern park, something you would think of in a new community in the Northeast or Midwest, where they've gone in and just really restructured it and made it family friendly. They also have an amphitheater there, which they're going to have concerts, videos, or movies in the park. And then they also have an area for food trucks, which they're getting ready to put that into play as well, where they'll have events and you can go and enjoy with the family. As far as what they've done to it, it absolutely makes it a more usable space for Cape Coral. However, it does draw in a lot more people now, which a lot of the property owners in the area absolutely did not want. And it was a controversial thing. People didn't want them spending money on it, but at the end of the day, it definitely, in my opinion, has enhanced the city and enhanced the experience here in Southeast Cape Coral. I love taking my daughter there, and we take walks around the park, and it's absolutely beautiful. Location-wise, so the Beach Parkway neighborhood is just north of the Cape Coral Bridge, south of the Midpoint Bridge. Easy access over to Fort Myers here, downtown Fort Myers, and then of course Fort Myers Beach down here. You also have easy access to the downtown area of Cape Coral, which here's Beach Parkway, right on down to downtown. Multiple restaurants, nightlife, lots of great things going on down there. If you're looking to just take an Uber or drive down for dinner, it's a great place. And you also have multiple other dining options here that you can reach by boat. So that's important to note too, because if you want to live the true lifestyle, you want to make sure that you can jump in your boat in your backyard and just head for dinner. A couple that I'll point out right now, you have right here is Monarca's, authentic Mexican food, and they have a nice transient dock area there. You can pull your boat right up. Over here, just off the Caloosahatchee River, they now have the Slipaway food truck and bar there. It's a food truck park where you can pull your boat up and just enjoy an amazing evening of music and food and enjoyment. And then a little bit further south is going to be the boathouse at the yacht club. Now, it's not there yet. It was there. It's been there for multiple years. Unfortunately, it did burn down a couple of years ago. So they're in the process of rebuilding that, but an absolutely incredible space to go and enjoy with the family. You can dock your boat right outside the restaurant. They actually have fuel there. You can fuel your boat, and just a good experience. The last one I'm going to point out to you that's an easy access from the beach neighborhood area, Beach Parkway neighborhood, would be just to shoot across the river. And you come in here to this blue building right here, the blue roofed building, and this is Deep Lagoon. And it's a really nice area to go as well. Great seafood, drinks, just a really enjoyable evening. And they have plenty of transient docking there. But you may want to call ahead just to make sure they have some availability if you're going at a busier time. But easy access, just jump across the river. It's over in Fort Myers, but you can just shoot across the river and have a nice dinner over there. All right, let's jump into the distance to open water from the Beach Parkway area. All right, let's talk about distance to open water from the Beach Parkway neighborhood. Now, the Beach Parkway neighborhood is located on the Gold Coast of Cape Coral, which means it's one of the neighborhoods east of Del Prado, north of Cape Coral, the Cape Coral Parkway Bridge, and then south of the Midpoint Bridge. So it's these neighborhoods right here are considered the Gold Coast of Florida. Now let's jump in here. And what we're going to see is if we start here on the southern part of the Beach Parkway neighborhood, we're on the Orchid Canal. It's going to be about 0.9 miles or 9 minutes to get you on out to the river. And this is the Caloosahatchee River right here. Now, if we're here on the Navajo Canal, it's going to be about 0.4 miles or 4 minutes just to get around here out to the river. Now let's jump over to the other side. And I did take us back a little bit further. I went back to where the Rubicon and the Plato Canal meet. From here, it's about 1.2 miles, about 12 minutes to get straight on out. Now there is a bridge here, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment, what the bridge height is there if you were to purchase a home on the other side, the western side of Del Prado or the Country Club neighborhood. But right now, 12 minutes is about what it's going to take you to get on out. Let's jump on down here to the Roanoke Canal, and that's going to be about 0.9 miles, about 9 minutes to get you on out to the river. And as you can see, we do have the condos here. Now there are 2 fingers here of homes in the Beach Parkway neighborhood. Now they only have access off of Del Prado Boulevard, not off of Beach Parkway. But if we zoom in, you can see they're pretty sharp looking neighborhoods, some pretty big homes here. Especially when you get to the end where they have these intersecting canals. They have the really wide views and the really wide canals here as well. But a really desirable area if you're looking for some privacy, just to be on one of these finger peninsulas. A really good area. And then of course here is this one here on Southeast 40th Terrace. And as you can see, just some beautiful spaces right out here. And easy access out to the open water, out to the Caloosahatchee River. So let's go here, Plato Canal. This is the Plato Canal. It's about 0.7 miles or 7 minutes to get you straight on out to the river. And then we're going to jump here to the Pentagon Canal. This one's about a half a mile, 0.5 miles, and about 5 minutes to get you on out to the river. You can notice the very wide canals. These canals are all about 200 feet across, which really makes them desirable, just giving you spectacular, huge water views. And then we'll go over here to the Phoenix Canal. It's about 0.4 miles or 4 minutes on out to the Caloosahatchee River. So as you can see, anywhere on the Gold Coast, you have direct access, meaning you can dock a sailboat, a catamaran, a tall T-top, center console, anything like that. You have options here to be able to put whatever you want here, especially if you have a home, you have 80 feet of you're going to have 80 feet of water frontage, so plenty of space to dock a large boat there. Of course, with condos, you are a bit more limited depending on what the HOA allows you to dock there. Okay, let's talk about bridge heights here in the Beach Parkway neighborhood. Now, technically, there aren't any bridges because all the homes, all the condos are going to offer direct access out to the Caloosahatchee River. But let's say you want to run back in. Maybe you have a friend or somebody that you know that lives on the other side of the bridge here at Del Prado. So we're going to look at that real quick. This is the Plato Canal, and you do have one bridge if you want to get back to the Country Club area or the western side of Del Prado. And the Plato Canal bridge here is going to be at 9 feet. So 9 feet for that bridge. If you see here at the Beach Parkway area, everything's direct access, which is absolutely incredible. So limited bridges in the whole area, especially if you're here on the Gold Coast of Cape Coral, where you just have an incredible way of life. All right, let's get into flood zones because it's extremely important to understand what you're buying into. Oftentimes when you're close to open water, you are going to be in a flood zone. Not always the case, but oftentimes that is the case. And depending on the elevation, the age of the home, there's many different factors that are going to go into how much you're going to pay for insurance. So let's jump into that. I'm going to show you the flood zones in this area. All right, in the city of Cape Coral, we have 3 different flood zone designations. You're going to have AE, you're going to have X500 and X. So AE means there's a 1% chance every year of a substantial flood event. X500 means there's 0.2%. So basically a 1 in 500 chance of having a substantial flooding event at any given year. And then flood zone X is basically an extremely minimal chance of having any flooding. So looking at the Beach Parkway neighborhood here, as you can see, it's all going to be zone AE. And we're going to see some numbers here. You see AE elevation 10 feet. And if we go back a little bit further, going to see elevation 8 feet. So anytime they build any new structures in there, that needs to the base level of that structure for the first floor, it needs to be a minimum of a foot higher than this elevation. So at 8 feet, it would need to be 9 feet. Over here, it would need to be 11 feet, and so on. Now, looking at the Beach Parkway neighborhood, as you can see, it's all entirely AE. So AE means your lender would require you to purchase flood insurance. Now, one of the things that you have to understand, and when you're doing your due diligence, and this is something that I didn't realize until a few years ago, and I was selling a condo for a client, and the HOA for that condo building chose not to purchase flood insurance. They wanted to save money. So whenever a new buyer came to purchase a unit in that building, they had to purchase with cash because a lender would not give a loan without having flood insurance because it was in zone AE, and the HOA would not purchase flood insurance. So that's something that really you need to be aware of. If your HOA is not paying for flood insurance, then it may be a little bit harder to sell your property. It's going to have to be a cash transaction. Or if you're buying into that type of property, you need to know what you're buying into and if it requires cash or you are able to get a loan on the property there. So really important to understand that why an association would not purchase flood insurance in a flood zone AE is beyond me. I think it's always in your best interest to have that coverage to protect you. And sure, you do pay a bit of a premium, but depending on the age of the structure, depending on the age, the building codes, there's other factors that go into it as far as like the elevation, the age of the property, and then other things as well. Now, if we jump here to the finger peninsulas here, they're all going to be AE as well. But something that's unique and interesting about this area, if we go just a bit north, look at this, the yellow, you start to see X500 in the Savona neighborhood. And this is east of Del Prado. Now, once you get west of Del Prado, all X500. So if you're the type of person that says, Barry, I absolutely don't want to be in a flood zone, meaning X500 or zone X. This is the area you're not required to have flood insurance here. You're yellow the whole way around. So you obviously can lower the maintenance cost of owning a home there. Now, a lot of these neighborhoods are a bit older, so we would need to find the right one for you, but you do have that option here in Cape Coral. Now, if you want that easy direct access, you want those huge water views here in the Gold Coast part of Cape Coral, then you definitely are going to be needing to purchase that AE flood insurance in order to get a mortgage. Now, you can pay cash and you don't have to have it, but it is recommended that you do. So as we can see, this is the Beach Parkway area here. All of it is going to be zone AE. All right, that concludes the map tour of the Beach Parkway neighborhood. Now, if you are thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or retiring here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral, go ahead and reach out to me like many others have. Schedule that strategy call with me. We do a video phone call where we're going to do a deep dive into exactly what Cape Coral would look like for you based on your budget, based on your comfort level for flood zones. We're going to look at distance to open water, bridge heights for the different neighborhoods that you might be interested in. There's so many different neighborhoods in Cape Coral and they all offer their own uniqueness to them. So based on what you're looking for, I can help point you in that direction and of course give you the inside details on what that would look like you living here. And you may find that Cape Coral is not for you, and that does happen from time to time, or you might find that it's exactly where you need to be to escape those cold, frigid winters of the north. So go ahead and click the link below or take a photo and scan that QR code. Book your appointment with me. I'd love to chat with you and help you start living this amazing life here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral.